You guys, last two results probably not good, but overall, how would you sort of sum up the start of the season?
Yeah, I think positive with that sort of tinge of frustration this last week. They kind of hit the nail on the head there. I don't think anyone really knew what to expect heading into the season because of the change of manager. Although the person like playing squad's not changed loads, it's a couple of key differences in the group, I'd say. But on the whole, really positive. I think to be up in and around those top 6 places is where they want to be come the end of the season. They probably should have more points than they've got. I think we'll come on to it. The Preston game at the weekend, they should have won. I think Derby, they were a couple of minutes away from winning up there as well. So it's that weird sort of feeling of if you offered us this sort of start before the start of the season, we'd have bitten your hand off, I think. But now, having seen it all, you probably feel they could be a couple of points better off.
Yeah, and obviously it was sort of summer of change at Bristol because Liam Manning went to Norwich, and now you've got an Austrian in charge. What would you say the mood is with him, and how much does he change the style of play?
Yeah, I was talking to some Preston guys about it at the weekend, and I think it was almost like the fan base went through the stages of grief with Liam Manning before he went, and by the time he'd gone, you'd had like all the supporters doing, "Oh, he was never any good anyway," sort of, like I guess it's rubbish that every football fan says at some point. But no, Struber came in, and I think he's kind of got that infectious enthusiasm in interviews. So before anyone had seen his team in action, most fans I think were pretty sold that if he could deliver what he was saying he'd deliver, it was going to be a fun season. I think that kind of sums it up. I think if you look at the way the team sets up on paper, it doesn't look too different to a Liam Manning team, but he's a Red Bull coach. He's come through that system, and it's very much that style of high press, in your face, trying to play direct front foot football. And it's probably a different change of pace from Liam Manning, and I think the fans have loved that so far because it's given them something to get excited about most weeks, even if it's not always bringing the results.
But Dan, what sort of game are you expecting at Ashton Gate as Ipswich Town come down? It's going to be two good footballing sides taking on each other.
Yeah, I think it feels like whenever these two teams face each other, no matter where they are in the league, they're normally decent games. I think back to the one at your place when you guys were back in the Championship, and that was chaos. Was it Leif Davis really late on with a winner, and then the home game I remember being quite tight as well. It was two pretty tight games. I think any game Bristol City are playing this season seems to be fairly open. I think that's how Struber wants it to be. He's mentioned chaos before. I think Paul Heckingbottom said that before. They like those sort of like carnage moments. So I think they'll be desperate to kind of make it like that. And I guess it feels like City's probably first big test, against like Premier League opposition last season. It's in all honesty, I'm not quite sure what to expect because they've not played a team at this level yet. I think, like I said, I think it'll be tight because I think you've got two teams that try to play, and they're not just going to lump it. It should be an exciting watch. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, I think I'd probably say, which kind of sums up the mood I've been in all season.
Yeah, very much so. So what is your prediction then? Of course, with the Robbins hat and glasses on, you're going to sort of back them, but yeah, it could go anyway.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with a point. I think if I was a Bristol City fan, would be my gut feeling. So I'll go 2-2 because I think there's probably goals in both teams. So I'm going to exciting 2-2, I'll say.